No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? What's going on? Welcome into a live edition on a Wednesday here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're everywhere, and we appreciate to all of you for tuning in today. It's a Jackson's Thursday here on Bronco Nation News, so make sure you get out to Jackson's. I know we'll see Michael Callahan out this summer at Roaring Springs once those hips are all taken care of and fully recovered. Head first down some of those slides. And, Michael, you can get $8 off your ticket to Roaring Springs at Jackson's when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products. So get over to Jackson's, get your Roaring Springs tickets, or at least your Coca-Cola products, get your receipt that gets you $8 off. You can use that 4 times. That's $32 in savings over at Jackson's. So we appreciate them. And as always, our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. All your painting needs, those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting. There would be no Bronco Nation News without RowPaint.com. So make sure you check them out as well. As I said, you see him on the screen here, Michael Callahan, former Boise State defensive lineman, helping us out on some Wednesdays here on Bronco Nation News. And we thought today would be a good one to have Michael Callahan on because we're going to talk some Braxton Fely, someone that he knows pretty well, and an interesting offseason or last couple months for Braxton Fely. But, Mike, appreciate you as always as I've been rambling here for 90 seconds. How we doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great. Fired up to be here. You bring up Roaring Springs. I'm pretty excited that I might be able to get on the weight limit rides this year. I don't know how high they let you go. If it's 250, I'm getting around there. So I'm getting fired up about that.
I called it a Jackson's Thursday. I guess today's only Wednesday. I got so much going on.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, and I called it a Jackson's Thursday. So
I fully believed you it was Thursday too.
Dude, if you saw what my office looked like right now with this golf tournament and all this stuff coming up tomorrow, I got the the raffle ticket thing here. We're getting ready to go. I'm putting stuff in here. I've literally got about 200 of these yard signs with the little stakes that I've got to put together for the whole sponsorship signs and everything else. And shout out all of our great sponsors, including Signature Roofing. I got theirs right here. But, I mean, if like I said, I'm not going to do it because it's embarrassing. But if I pan the camera around in my room right now, and my garage, more importantly, you'd see all the stuff we're passing out and everything we got going on. So we are a lot going on the next couple of days. Excited. We got my family, my parents, and my brother flying in from Missouri late tonight, and happy hour tomorrow. Golf tournament Friday. Then we got both kids playing baseball tournaments all weekend. So. Mike, just wait till you get kids and get that job situated, and then all your life is about to get real crazy for you here pretty soon, man.
The craziest part of the weekend you brought up is the kids' baseball tournaments, because I remember those not so fondly. I know that those take up from about 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. on a Saturday and Sunday. So good luck with that.
And all of a sudden, it just decided this week to become 95 degrees again. It looks like as well.
Yeah, great.
Robbie says, "Dang it, BJ, don't tease me with a shorter week like that." Yeah, Matthew, it is Wednesday. Apologize, guys. I'm already thinking about the happy hour event tomorrow night, which sounds like Michael Callahan might be able to make an appearance at tomorrow night. If you were thinking about coming but on the fence, getting the chance to see Michael Callahan, in the flesh right there at, Western Collective Brewery might be the reason for folks to come, Mike.
Yeah, pizza and beer. I don't know what gets better than that, and it's going to be hard to keep me away from that.
That is the Western Collective Brewery, 6 o'clock tomorrow. We do have tickets available if you want to come. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Leon Rice, Spencer Danielson, Dirk Cutter. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of other folks are going to be there. Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, Latrell Caples, and Matt Lauder, the NIL guys with Lithia Ford. They will all be there hanging out, talking to folks. Coach Riddle will be there, Mike Prater, Johnny Mallory, Jay Tust is going to be there helping out with the Q&A on stage. And you can find Michael Callahan in the back with a beer in his hand and a slice of pizza ready to go. Seems like I'll be back there with you. Works for me.
I mean, it sounds like a great Thursday night to me personally. But
we do have some tickets available still. We're getting closer to selling this thing out, man. It's a huge beer garden, but we got a nice crowd coming. We do have some space left, though, if you'd like to join us. Looking forward to it. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. It's just rains@bronconationnews.com. $35. You can Venmo Bronco Nation News. We'll get you more information. And again, that includes your Horseshoe Golden Ale, your Orange Chaos Seltzer from Western Collective, your pizza from Uncle Bob's, and there's going to be other drinks available for purchase if you'd rather have something different. But hang out with other boosters, fans, whoever. Meet Coach Rice, Coach Danielson, and then as I said, I mentioned the raffle, Mike. We are actually raffling off the chance. I was surprised Dirk Cutter agreed to this, but we are raffling off the chance. You can buy a raffle ticket. We got the prices and things, the Venmo that night, but a winning there will be 2 buckets, one for Dirk Cutter, one for Leon Rice. You can buy your tickets and try both or pick which one you want. And if you win the raffle, you get Dirk Cutter or Leon Rice to join your fivesome for 9 holes on Friday. So that'll be pretty fun to have a couple Coors Lights and 9 holes and get to chat it up with Dirk Cutter on Friday.
Doesn't surprise me too much if it's a chance for Dirk to play golf.
He agreed to golf long before I convinced him to ask him about playing with a random group, that we could raffle off. He was all about the charity and helping raise money for that. So if you want to come tomorrow, if you are in the golf tournament, you can put your raffle tickets in there and purchase those and have the chance to play golf with Leon Rice or Dirk Cutter for 9 holes on Friday. So looking forward to that. Going to be a lot of fun. I'll mention it again later in the show for folks that come on late, but we'd love to have you join us. And Mike, appreciate you for wanting to work your schedule around to hurry over and make it work. But we did it last year, and it's just a fun time hanging out. If nothing else, it's going to be a nice, it'll be warm a little bit, but a nice evening, and have a slice of beer and a piece of pizza and maybe hang out with some friends and then, have a nice little Q&A up there on stage as well. And that'll be again tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Western Collective Brewery. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com if you'd like to attend. I don't even know how we got talking about that. Oh, something with being on the wrong day of the week. Yeah. And I'll be completely honest with you, Mike. I am very thankful it's not Thursday because I think I'm at 16. I got 16 items on my to-do list for today to get ready for tomorrow. So if it were tomorrow already, I would be in trouble. So I'm actually happy to see that it is Wednesday and not Thursday. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to having my family come in town as well. But looking forward to our discussion today as well, Mike, because I know we've talked about it when he decided to come back, and we've kind of got into it a little bit. already the last, couple of weeks, but we're down to, we're inside the top 10 now on our 10 most important players most important players to the football team here in 2025. And we've manipulated the numbers a little bit just so like on a Wednesday when, you could do it with us. And last week we had Brad Bedell talking, about Mason Randolph and Roger Carry-On. So
yep.
This may not be the 100% perfect list. We wanted to make sure on a Wednesday you could join us, but I think we might have had Braxton Fely 7th actually, but we bumped him down 1 to 8 so that you could talk about him today. So I'm not saying he's not deserving. His was actually the other way around. We bumped him back so we could talk about him with you. But number 8 on our list, top 10. You could certainly argue he should be top 5 or higher if you just think about what else is left in the D line and where they're at in terms of depth and things there. But I think top 10 is a fair spot. But Braxton Fely, we'll get into him leaving, coming back, whatever. But just knowing that guy, knowing this defensive line the way that you do, obviously he's a massive part to this line and this defense as a whole this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you got him right where he needs to be, right in that top 10 range of most important guys coming up in this season. And Braxton's impact on the field would have been almost impossible to replace. It would have been difficult to go through this next season with no experience, going through in terms of Boise State experience. So having him come back and having him get to come back in that locker room and work his way back with the guys, which I know he's going to do a great job of. I know the coaches have handled it great. And I know that, just having him in the building, Braxton's an awesome dude. And there's nobody that's going to tell you differently that knows him. And at the end of the day, he's just an unbelievable talent. I've said it on here before. Braxton's pass rush ability as a defensive tackle you can't coach it. He's got natural moves. There's a move called the hump move that he's got that I haven't seen someone be able to block him yet. And we've played some first round talent and he's gotten past some guys with this move that, we've all tried to do it. None of us could have done it while we were playing. And, he's just, at the end of the day, like this is a guy that realistically could go in there and he could eat almost 60 snaps a game if he had to. Just the nature of the position, I don't know if that'll be the reality, just because on the defensive line, you want to make sure the bodies are fresh and you get the guys out there that can execute their job at the highest level. But Braxton's ready to take the next step this upcoming season. And the sky's absolutely the limit for Braxton. Super excited for him. Very pumped up that he decided to come back. I think he made the absolute best choice for him and his family. And he's going to have an unbelievable season. Very happy he's here.
Well, I want to discuss kind of the leaving, coming back thing for a minute, and then we'll kind of get back into the X's and O's and the numbers of him. But I mean, April 2nd, he decides to enter the portal. Just give us some perspective as a former teammate of his, a friend of his, just what conversations did you have with him about that? And just, I mean, when you found out, whether it was publicly on April 2nd or before that or whenever, that like that's what was going to happen, what was your initial thought, I guess, when everybody just kind of was shocked by that, I think, in terms of we all knew about the his relationship with Spencer and doing his wedding and all that kind of stuff, and when that one hit, I think it was kind of like oh, wow, because I think if I remember right, too, I mean, we already had the news of Andrew Simpson going in the portal first, I believe, and then like a week later this happens, and a lot of people were just like, oh, man, like is the dam breaking here or what's going on? Right. We'll get to him changing his mind to come back in a second, but just the whole going into the portal initially, what was your kind of thoughts on all that?
Yeah, right, and honestly, even being out since January, I couldn't tell you how much the landscape has changed in the last 4 or 5 months. So I don't know what the conversations were at that point. And, I know that there is a lot of other factors going into decisions like that you have to consider. So, at the end of the day, he made a decision. He'll tell you first that he thinks that it wasn't the right decision for himself long-term. And he's very grateful to be able to come back and be able to come be a part of this. And, I know that there was a lot of things going on, not just with him, just all together, the collective of college football. We've talked about it numerous times so far, and it's just a very tough environment for these. At the end of the day, these guys are all 18 to 22 years old tops, so it's a very heavy decision to put on a lot of these guys. And at the end of the day, sometimes you'll see something like that, but I'm really happy with how that situation was handled, like with him and everything that went into it. And, like I said, he did what's best for him and his family and those around him, and came back here, and it all worked out in the end. But like I said, I don't even know if I could put myself in those shoes, just because A, wasn't talented enough, B, it's just a very different landscape it's on a month-to-month basis. Things change in college football right now. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of lack of regulation, if that makes sense. So it's just tough to see. It's tough for guys to navigate. I get it. And very happy how the whole thing turned out, and that he's back and part of this program.
What because we all saw with the Eric McAllister situation a couple years ago, where he wanted to come back, and I don't know if it was an official team vote or just captains or what, but it came out that basically the team didn't want him back, or said, "No, we can't take you back right now," just because of the situation, kind of giving up in the middle of the season, obviously, and that's a lot different than this. But I know there was some leadership group or some, I don't know how it went down. Maybe you can fill us in, but I know that players had some input on that, I believe, and that was the decision that my understanding was to not have him come back. And then we saw, frankly, I heard Andrew Simpson may have had some interest in coming back as well at some point, or at least may have reached back out. I don't know what might have happened there, but maybe he had some interest, and obviously that didn't work out there. I mean, what do you think about when Braxton Fely picked up that phone and randomly called Spencer Danielson? I don't know what you know about if they had to have a team vote or talk about it or what, but what do you know about some of those current D linemen and stuff, and just that dynamic of a player entering the portal and then wanting to come back, and why you think it worked this time for them to allow him to come back?
Yeah, I think like you were saying, I think you got to take it on by a case-by-case scenario with some of these guys and see what the situation, regarding both entering or what the circumstance was when they did leave, timing and everything. So, and also, like you said, like the dynamic in that room, just knowing him and knowing the impact that he has on guys. A lot of people were shocked when it happened naturally, just because it kind of came out of nowhere. But just the relationships that he's maintained over the course of the 3 years that he was here before, I think that it definitely made it reasonable to go through with this and get him back on the team and get him back integrated with the guys. And I know that process, I would imagine, will probably take a little bit just for everybody to, get used to getting him back in and everything like that. But, like I said, I'm not entirely sure about anything with that, but I know that I would imagine that it's going to be, you just got to look at the circumstances and what goes into the factors deciding, whether a kid's going to stay or go. And if he wants to come back, I would imagine that it's more of a player-led decision than anything. You got to go through the players first and make sure that that's a locker room that the guy can get back into and that they'll guide him back into that. But it's going to be interesting to see how it goes down, further down the road, just because, like I said, actively changing dynamics. By the next time that the portal opens up, hopefully there's more structure in place to prevent stuff like this from being a reality. That's my biggest thing is I don't necessarily fault the kids to a complete extent, just because it's such a, there's a lot of numbers being thrown out all over the place. You don't know what's real. You don't know what's not. So hopefully at some point we just get a little more structure with the system.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a friend of his, if you're a teammate, I mean, especially I get it. You're like, yeah, he's my friend. Like, yeah, we'd love to have you back. Come on back. But I bet you deep down inside, some of those guys that were maybe going to have a starting spot, or we're going to compete for way more snaps and we're ready for that opportunity, we're kind of like, no, you said you wanted to left, man. I stayed through it. Like, it's my turn now. Like, I put in my work. I put in my time. Like, I'm ready to take this spot. And for him to come back and just kind of retake his starting spot and push everybody down the depth chart, like, I mean, they may never say it publicly, but I would think it's just human nature. Like, privately, yeah, there's probably a couple of guys that are a little disappointed or not super pumped about it, but obviously it's about the team and what's best for the team. And if that helps them win, I guess that, all's end up's fine. But yeah, I could, a wide receiver or a punter, like they probably don't care. Yeah, come on back. We're going to be better. Help us out. But I could see that being a little interesting in the defensive line room.
Though, like I said, I can't put myself in those shoes because I didn't have anything like that happen while I played, and I played for a while. But it just depends on the dynamic of the room before he left, while he left, and while he came back, and depending on how those guys have gelled together over that course of time. Sure. I've just known those guys briefly, and also the ones that have no longer. I would imagine that they're going to have no problem bringing him back in with open arms, and I'm sure that they were actually probably excited that he came back. And I know that the competitive side of it is like, oh shoot, I might have lost some reps here and there, but at the end of the day, a lot of guys are just wired differently in that room, and they want what's best for the team. And having Braxton Fely as a member of this football team is absolutely what's best for the Boise State Broncos going into 2025.
Well, we'll get into the numbers and what they say and why that's a good decision and just what the kind of player he is on the field here in just a second. But I do want to thank some of our sponsors. This is a free show, folks. You're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on X for free. We could put this behind some sort of paywall or make you be a subscriber or something, but we keep this thing free of charge, and that's due to our sponsors. So please support the sponsors. And I know some of you complain about the commercial breaks and all that, and they get long, but you know what? Like, it's a free show. So, support the sponsors and help us keep this business model working, and help us keep paying guys like Michael Callahan and Jay Tuss and John Mallory and Mike Prater to come on these shows. So that starts with our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, the interior, exterior painting, our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. I can get you in touch directly with Andy Rowe if you're looking to get a painting project done. They'll come out and do a free estimate. Rowpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Another big supporter is Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate TacoBellWorks.com for their support. Taco Bell, Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations are hiring, so you can go on there and apply for a job. You can go into the store and see the paperwork there right when you walk in, and the food is pretty darn good as well. Check out all the great options they have there. Again, appreciate Taco Bell. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, co-title sponsor of the golf tournament. We appreciate them for that. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. And there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but as you know by now, the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out online. Make the switch today at ICCU.com. I mentioned Jackson's earlier in the show. It's a Jackson's Wednesday today, I guess. Jackson's $8 off. You get 4 tickets up to $32 in savings at Roaring Springs when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Jackson's. They'll be out at the golf tournament on Friday with some snacks and things and sponsoring a hole. So we appreciate the Jackson's crew and looking forward to seeing them on Friday. Again, hit up Jackson's or Extra Mile and save today on those Roaring Springs tickets. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com. 4 locations in the state, 3 here in the Treasure Valley. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Check them out online. View all their options at thespateam.com. Big news coming for the Blue and Orange store here in the next little bit. We can't wait to tell you about it. The Blue and Orange store online, theblueandorangestore.com, whether it's jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it. The Blue and Orange store, they got you covered, theblueandorangestore.com. But just going to the Boise Town Square Mall there, second floor next to Pro Image, they have all the great options and things there, and that includes the clearance rack, the best value in town right there at the front of the store. So hit up our friends at the Blue and Orange store, again, online at theblueandorangestore.com, and they will be awarding the first, second, and third place prizes. I've got some $100 gift cards to the Blue and Orange store right here. So if your team wins first, second, or third, and I know Michael Callahan would have been a contender for this. They're also the sponsor of the long drive competition, hole 18 at our golf tournament on Friday. If you end up with the longest, and I guess this would be the problem for you, Mike, you'd have to keep it in the fairway to be eligible for the long drive competition. Yeah. That might have been a problem for you.
Yeah, no, my balls have the notorious slice on them. And
so you're the guy that like literally sets up aiming that way, and you're like, the hole's that way, and you're like, oh, I know.
I will turn my body almost 45 degrees to the left, and sometimes it'll end up still on the fairway, but for the most part, even if I angle it like that, it's still going to get into the trees on the right. I'm spending some time as soon as I can. I'm going to try to go to the range as much as possible when I'm cleared and try to get that straightened out. But it's not pretty. And, former baseball player trying to play golf, that naturally takes some time as is, just because I got the load and swing in it instead of the typical golf swing. So that's going to be a work in progress for years, probably the rest of my life. To be honest.
We actually, my 8-year-old, my younger kid, actually had a great baseball swing, great hip turn, and then actually I think it was at last year's golf tournament. During the whole tournament, just to keep him busy, he literally got blisters on his hands because he swung like 2,000 golf balls, and it changed his baseball swing all of a sudden. And he's still to this day, he doesn't have quite the hip turn and stuff that he used to because of his golf swing. So we are working on that. But I mentioned that because the Blue and Orange store, they are sponsoring the long drive competition. $200 gift card to the Blue and Orange store. You also get a free foursome, I believe, at Timberstone if you win the long drive competition. So we appreciate the Blue and Orange store for sponsoring the long drive competition, and that will be Friday out at Timberstone. All right, the numbers. We've talked about this, Mike, but the defensive line with you and some of the other guys leaving, 1,117 snaps at defensive tackle are missing from last year's team. Over 1,100 snaps you guys combined for that are all gone. Would have been an even bigger number, obviously, with Braxton Fely leaving. But he's the only returning defensive tackle who played at least 60 snaps last season. I mean, 60 snaps is 3.5 snaps a game or whatever, 4 snaps a game, not much at all. So I know there's some guys they're excited about in that group, and I know you're probably going to hype up a lot of these younger guys, but really no proven experience from most of these guys in terms of having to play a big role. I know they've added, obviously, a couple of transfers and things as well. So, I mean, there's some guys that have maybe done it at other places, but not necessarily at Boise State. But clearly, Fely is the one returning guy. He's one of only 2 defensive tackles on the entire roster, by the way, who has more than 200 career snaps at the FBS level. He had 584 snaps last season, was 3rd on the team in pass rushing snaps with 394. And, looking at some of the numbers here on Nathan Carroll's article, you can go read it right now at BroncoNationNews.com if you are a subscriber. As you know, at Boise State, the best pass rush in college football last season, Fely was 3rd with 25 pressures in that group, and he was 4th with 5.5 sacks. So he was 2nd team All-Mountain West last year. So in terms of a pass rush, as you said, phenomenal. And it's interesting because the story here from Nathan says he had 55 pressures the past 2 seasons, a stellar 72.7 Pro Football Focus grade on true pass sets, which means no screens or play action, just drop back passes. He had 72.7 grade, which is pretty good. Yep. But it does say, and maybe I'm curious what your thoughts are here, he has shorter arms, which hurts him against lengthier offensive linemen, and his smaller frame hurts him in the run game. He had a well below average 51.2% defensive run grade last season. He's also credited with a 40.4% career missed tackle rate, which is well below the average of an interior defensive lineman. And his 33.3% missed tackle rate last season was the 2nd lowest of all 351 defensive tackles in the country who played at least 300 snaps or more. So the numbers say great pass rusher, but not a great run stopper, not a great tackler. What do you say as a former teammate on Braxton Fely?
Yeah, obviously you mentioned the size. Braxton's 6 foot, all of 6 foot, and we love to dunk on him.
296, I think he's listed at.
Yeah, he is thick. He carries it really well. But, he is short. He does have a little shorter arms, but that doesn't really affect him, in my opinion. And you know how I feel about PFF. I've made that pretty clear in the past. Tackling, Braxton knows that he needs to get better at tackling, and that's something that he's going to get better at going into this last season. And that just comes with more experience, more reps, and at the end of the day, going into this fall camp fully healthy, getting the opportunity to go through 2 full contact scrimmages, that'll get him ready to go for this season. And I think that that's the safest projection on Braxton's season as a whole, as his tackling will improve this season. But in terms of the run game, Braxton does do a lot of things at a very high level in the run game. I know that the numbers might seem a little questionable. Some of that goes down to what our responsibilities are on certain plays, because we do a few unorthodox things inside and with our linebackers that might look like we're getting reached, but in reality, that's kind of the whole point. So we might get docked on that. But, get away from the PFF thing, because the PFF, sometimes I agree with his pass rush numbers, I'll tell you that. But but Braxton's a really good freaking player. Like, there's no discussion around it. Second team all conference last year. My opinion, I think he got snubbed for first team all conference. There were a few seniors that they gave it to from other schools. But I'm just telling you, he took such a tremendous step last year. And in crucial situations, he made some very big plays for us on defense last year from a position that you typically don't see gigantic plays coming from all the time. So he has the opportunity to make such a tremendous impact on this defense. Relaying it back to the beginning of this conversation, at the end of the day with the defensive tackle position, yes, I will hype up the young guys, but experience is king. At the end of the day, it sucks because you have to get on the field to be able to get the experience, but this is him, Dion are the only two with any proven experience at the FBS level. I know that they're going to lean on those guys specifically because they've done it and they've put it on film, and the guys can learn from them and what they see on a game-to-game basis, especially because now we have the tablets on the sideline. We can go to the sideline and we can look at what happened and we can talk about what happened, and they can relay to the other guys what they're feeling and what they're seeing. So having that experience is invaluable to this defensive line with a lot of young talent. And I think over the course of the season, some of these guys that we're talking about as young guys, with very limited reps and stuff like that. The same time next year, we'll be talking about, those are now the experienced guys on the defensive line because they'll build up the experience over this next season. But having those two experienced presences in the room, just stripping everything away, just the fact that they have a wealth of game experience is huge for this young defensive tackle room, in my opinion.
We mentioned the tackling. For an interior defensive lineman, it would seem like a lot of those are kind of group tackles and just trying to slow the guy down. How do you be I don't know what the question is exactly, but in terms of being a bad tackler as an interior defensive lineman, you don't get a lot of one-on-one, the guys running around. Maybe there's something with the offensive line where the guy gets through and maybe it's a one-on-one with it, but I don't really feel like a defensive tackle gets a lot of just one-on-one straight shots with a running back or something. Isn't it a lot of just trying to get a hand in there and slow him down or plug the gap so a linebacker can make the tackle? How do you, if a defensive lineman's considered a bad tackler? I guess I'm just kind of curious about that.
I'm also in the same boat as that, but
do you get a lot of one-on-one opportunities for tackling as a defensive tackle? Or
I think in my career, I might have had 3 or 4 opportunities at a one-on-one tackle.
Through the backfield to the quarterback, I guess.
Yeah. And he will take shots. That's part of his game. And by taking a shot, he'll immediately disengage with the blocker and get upfield. And in those, from what I remember last season, I think that's where he really improved, was on his shots. He was getting the TFLs last season. Other than taking the shots and getting upfield, the only other one-on-one tackling situations you really get inside is if you break the stack and you get out on a screen and you're going to help on the perimeter. But for the most part, tackling inside is as crapshoot as it gets because you got 2 guys on you, you're trying to split it. You see color for half a second, and you kind of just got to take your shot and dive into it and see what you can get. I think that all 4 of our tackling rates were not great last year. I'm pretty sure I had the worst one, and they told me that, and I was like, "How is that even possible?"
As a team, I know you guys are one of the worst tackling. You guys were one of the worst tackling teams in America by the numbers last year.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've talked about that before. I'm so confident that that's been the number one point of emphasis this whole off season, going into summer, going into fall camp, is how do we get better tackling as a team? And, I brought it up before, there is such a thing as a good miss. taking a shot and forcing them back into your leverage where your help's coming from with the pursuit. Because, you throw on our defense's film from last year and having a lot of those guys carry into this year. The one thing you can't knock on these guys is their pursuit. Like you're not going to see plays where you have a guy standing, 20 yards away from the play. Like it doesn't matter if you're the furthest guy away. You flip on the film, they're typically sprinting towards the action because, at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't assume. So we'll see what happens with these guys as a whole. I know that tackling was our weak suit last year, and we had to get better at it, and we improved over the course of the season, but there's still a ton of room for improvement for a lot of these guys, and I'm sure that that's been the number one emphasis going through this whole offseason so far.
All right, so to wrap up the Braxton Fely discussion, because I do have a couple other quick topics I want to hit you on. We had Max Steege at number 25. We had David Latu at number 20. I'm looking at the numbers here to see if we had any other interior alignment on this point. We really haven't. But obviously, as a whole, defensively, I mean, we haven't had Marco Notriani yet. We haven't had Amarion McCoy yet. We haven't had Jaden Virgin Morgan on our list. So all three of those guys, it looks like are inside, our top 10 as well. But just in general, kind of to wrap this 30-minute discussion up, Braxton Fely, his importance to this line, to this defense. I mean, getting him back was obviously a massive deal, and this defense is going to go in part, as far as Braxton Fely can help take them this year.
Yep, absolutely. I think you said it perfectly right there. There's going to be a lot of weight on him this year. Like you said, we lost 1,100 snaps on the defensive line room. That was a very tight group that we played with. We had 4 guys that played the whole game for the last 2 years. And having him be the last one standing out of that, there is going to be a lot that falls on him this year. But he's ready for it. He's physically strong enough to handle the workload that's going to be asked of him. He's mentally tough enough to do it. And he's going to be a great presence in that locker room and as a leader on the team while he's doing it. So super excited for Braxton. I think you hit it on the head. He's absolutely one of the top 10 most important people going into this season. And in my opinion, he's absolutely my pick to be on that first team all conference list when the season's all said and done. I think that he's going to have an unbelievable season.
All right, well, from one position to another, I mean, we saw the receiving skills of Michael Callahan during his career. So I know he's a great guy to talk about the wide receiver position here at Boise State, and we'll do that in just a second. But Lithia Ford of Boise, don't forget their pre-owned sale going on right now. Some great pre-owned deals, benefits of a new car without the new price, and that's the pre-owned pride at Lithia Ford of Boise. Their certified pre-owned vehicles give you more for your money with warranties, inspections, 24/7 roadside assistance, and the large inventory means there are plenty of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs for every budget. Do what the Raines family did. Check out the lot at Fairview and Maple Grove. Visit them online, lithiafordboise.com. View that pre-owned vehicle at Lithia Ford Boise. We appreciate Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate as well. I know everybody's got 4 or 5 friends, family members that are realtors, but if you want someone that backs it up with the support of Boise State, backs it up with support of NIL, and gets you your best dollar and fights for every inch of your sale, Matt Bauscher is your guy. We're loving our home. I can't tell you how awesome it is to kind of hit the 1-year mark. This is the 1-year anniversary of us moving into our new home because we did it right literally the day before the golf tournament last year, which I don't ever want to do again. But just the last year is amazing to think about in our new home, and we appreciate Matt and his team for all their help. And again, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hit him up. You will not be disappointed. He's not just a name or a face or whatever. He's the guy that's going to help you and every step of the way. And really appreciate Matt and thank him. And check him out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets. ShopRidleys.com is their website. Find a location near you. They've got like 13 of them in the state of Idaho. Love that Kuna location. They've got some others around the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley up there in McCall. They got that Skip app. Download that. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And again, that's our friends at Ridley's Family Markets. Hey, if you're looking for a job, transportation compliance service can help you get into the trucking industry every step of the way, whether it's a DOT, overweight, all the other permits, paperwork. Let the professionals handle it. And they can do that online for you at transcompservice.com. Local company helping out folks all over the world get into the trucking industry at transcompservice.com. Signature Roofing presents the speakpipe.com/BNN voice inbox line. If you have a comment, a question, a concern, something you liked, what you heard, something you disagreed with, we'd love to hear you. Leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line, and we can get your voicemail played on an upcoming broadcast on BNN. And you can do it right there from your phone, right there from your computer. You just go to speakpipe.com/BNN and record us your message. And it's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, all your roofing needs, they've got you covered at Signature Roofing. Again, online at mysignatureroofing.com. All right. We had some news over the weekend, some new receiver leaving, or a receiver leaving, a new receiver coming. I know this position already, Mike, was one that had some question marks, obviously losing Cam Camper and losing Prince Strawn. And, we talked about it a lot with Jay Tuss yesterday, but I'm curious on Kobe Young, basketball player at Boise State, leaves to go play basketball elsewhere, now comes back to live his dream as a football player. And all you really need to know is that Matt Miller worked him out and offered him a scholarship. So right there, you should just be like, okay, if this isn't some walk-on thing, they're giving this dude a scholarship. They expect him to come in and have a chance to contribute here. But you said you bumped into him or saw him and didn't realize how big he was. But just in general, a guy that hasn't played football since high school in like 3 years and has played basketball and is now, as of yesterday, which, by the way, must have been nice for you to wake up yesterday and not be
amazing
amongst the former players running in at 6 a.m. for summer workouts. What is Kobe Young getting himself into here in terms of trying to get into football shape and the physicality of football and the summer workouts and everything he needs to do to learn the playbook and everything else? I mean, it seems like there's probably a lot going on for Kobe Young. But what do you make of that and just him deciding to join the team and them giving him a chance?
Yeah, I was just as shocked as anybody was. Just the fact guy that's played college basketball for a few years, transitioning to a football role, towards the latter half. But that transition.
They still had that Boise State baseball team. I know you might have had a shot there at some point.
If I want to blow my shoulder out, I would have been in the majors by now. But seriously, that transition is going to be interesting, and it's going to be awesome for him to get a chance to work with Coach Hilgart and his whole staff, just because transitioning from basketball workouts to football workouts, I would imagine it's a very different world. I would imagine there's a ton of cardio involved with basketball workouts. So I'm not saying that his cardiovascular shape is going to be struggling, but going from those lifts to going into a full college football summer program where guys are really ramping up and guys are really starting to push it, getting ready for fall camp. That's going to be, it's probably going to be drinking out of a fire hose for a little bit, but that dude is absolutely very athletic. Just off of the basketball tape that I've seen of him, I think that, that does translate to a football role for sure as a wide receiver. How he's used, we'll see how that goes, whether that's a red zone threat, obviously much taller than the average wide receiver in college football and has proven vertical capabilities. So it's going to be, I'm very curious to see how that goes down. I think that, I like this move. I think it could be freaking awesome if this works out.
Skyship wanting to know if Michael Callahan could score 2 points on Kobe Young 1v1.
No, but I am confident that I'd get a few rebounds because
you could back him down. You got this. You could back him down and post him up in the lane there, I would think.
I missed the developmental curve of basketball, so I ended up getting banned from playing basketball from all the guys because I'd piss them all off because I'd play like I was still in 7th grade, but I would play as hard as humanly possible. So I'd foul pretty much every play, and I would go as hard as possible for the rebounds. Any shot that I took wasn't going in, for sure. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have any basketball skill whatsoever. No, I don't think I could get 2 points on him, but I do think that I could steal a rebound off of hustle here and there.
You seem like the guy at the YMCA or whatever, where he's just the sweaty dude that nobody wants to guard because you let him go and then he just dominates down in the paint the whole game.
That's exactly what I am as a basketball player.
that sounded like some I do say that as a compliment, but
I'll take it. Yeah.
By the way, uniform question here. J Bands 24 wanting to know any chance we get new orange jerseys this year, that or throwbacks. I know you guys got the new uniforms a couple years ago with the black and the blue and the whites, but still have the old orange uniforms. I know there's always the new decals. We heard about some of the new chrome helmets maybe or whatever, but any rumblings, or were you ever told as a player like what the plan was long term for other uniforms? Or
I think we had 3 new uniforms out of, obviously we have 4 typical jerseys. I don't know when the orange update will come. I would be surprised if it's this year, just because obviously there's so much logistics that goes into the equipment side of things that I didn't realize until I got in. There's a reason that Dale Holstey's, royalty
a legend
for Boise State football alumni. He does an incredible job, but I would be surprised if there's new orange jerseys this year. I would imagine by 2026 they'll probably have an update to get them, up to code with what the other 3 uniforms are now.
Oh, it makes sense too when they're switching conferences to switch that patch over.
Right. That takes a lot of work.
What's your favorite uniform combo?
Oh, for me, when I was younger, I was all into like all the super cool combinations. I thought that the Stormtrooper look was my favorite for a while. And then towards the end, the all blues, like I don't want to sound like a broken record because I know everybody that's out of here probably says the same thing, but something about the all blues this year just kind of hit home for me. Wazoo, Oregon State, and the Mountain West Championship. I don't know. I'll miss the all blues. Everything else looked cool. I really liked the blue, white, blue look a lot.
That's a good one.
I was into that one, but I would say all blues all day. Can't get away from it.
Some people get on me for this, but I think they should never wear anything other than all blue at home. Like, you can have your fun and you can get creative on the road and do whatever you want with all the weird colors and all that. And I know that limits the use of the black jersey or whatever if you're on the road sometimes or whatever else. I get it, but for me, the blue on blue, it's iconic. It's whether it's an advantage, whatever, you can say what you want, but I mean, that's what Boise State's known for, the blue on the blue. And I would personally wear nothing other than blue on blue at home and have your fun and get cute on the road.
I felt like I was the only person that was fighting that fight the whole year. Anytime we start talking about the uniform combination, I'm like, blue. We got to wear all blue. We're home. And it worked for a couple of them. Yeah, but those were planned, so it didn't work on my end. But
now isn't that all done in like over the summer and stuff? Isn't it already kind of known what you guys? I mean, last year was the first year. I don't know if they intended to do it, but last year they actually announced like every game's combo over the summer because they talked about the color schemes for the fans and all that. But typically it wouldn't come out till like the Thursday before the game. But I still think all that stuff usually is decided over the summer, right?
Yeah. You typically get ironed out by like July, just because so much prep on the equipment side of things has to go down just to like make this work on a week-to-week basis throughout the season. So you have to figure out what cleats need to be broken in first during fall camp, because you got blue, you got orange cleats, and you got black cleats. So you got to figure out what cleats need to be broken in, what helmets need to be broken in, and other things on the equipment side of it. So a lot of logistical planning goes into it before we even get to the season. But I will say this. I did think that even though I am a blue on blue at home believer, I do think that the way that the stadium fully sells out for the or fully commits for those color schemes, I always thought that was super cool. I loved the blackouts. The blackouts were freaking sweet with the stands. Uniforms are cool too, but just with the stands, or when we're going orange, or when they want to stripe it when we go blue and white, I thought that all of that was super cool. Yeah. It's just that while we were playing at home, I always had something in the back of my mind that week, like I wish we were wearing all blue. But
I'm guessing August 29th. It's hot, it's humid. I'm guessing you'd probably not get great odds, but you could win some money if you went ahead and guessed all white for the South Florida game.
I think that's a very fair. That's a fair bet, because the one year that we went south and we didn't do that, Florida State. I remember how those jerseys looked. I don't know if the TV really did it justice, but the blue pants were looking pretty disgusting by the end of that.
Was that blue, white, blue?
Yeah. That was my first travel trip, and I remember I thought the uniform was super cool, and then I started looking at everybody, and I was like, "We look gross."
I think just because of the heat and everything, the all white. I think you guys wore all white down at Georgia Southern last year, right?
Yeah, we did. I remember because I saw a picture of me. The Yorba Linda guys ran into a Yorba Linda coach that lives down there now, and we all took a picture with him on the field after the game. And they weren't white; they were gray at that point, and it was disgusting.
I typically try to dress up for my pregame shows a little bit, whatever. And I remember that one. It was I got thinking, oh yeah, you got to still wear, either a sport coat or a tie or something, whatever. And I get down there and I'm like, no, I'm going for the $30 Nike polo here. I'm not messing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I mean, it was. I think I was on the air for 2 hours that game pregame. On the sideline right there at Georgia Southern, and I may have lost 10 pounds just standing there. I mean, I don't know how you got. I mean, it was, and you guys do a pretty good job, and we'll get to it over the summer and stuff with all the inferno practices and all that stuff. I mean, when you get down there, it's not the same. And just standing there, I remember after that, the worst part was after that pregame show was over. It's 20 minutes before the game's starting. I got to pack up all my crap on the field and then lug it up this huge hill back to the press box. And then I'm literally just sweaty and smelly and sticky. And I have to go sit in the press box for 3 hours for the game. It was, I can't imagine what, as a player, playing in a game like that.
I remember going through the dynamic warm up before that game. And as soon as we were done, I always gave the speeches and the pregame warm up huddle. So I gave my speech. And then I made a beeline for Coach Chinander, and I told him, I was like, I'm in trouble, dude. This is this is going to be a battle today.
I think I have video of you somewhere doing that, and I was going to play it, and then there were a couple of choice words that I decided
you can't make any of those at that point. I mean,
folks are agreeing with us in the chat, all blue at home. So yeah. Well, Michael, appreciate your time as always, man. It was a fun talking Braxton Fely and some other things going on. And looking forward to that Kobe Young experience. What 6'6", 6'7"? I mean, as he said, and the hops that he has. I remember at New Mexico for basketball, it's called the Pit, and they have this. It's kind of this famous ramp where when you walk into the arena, you're at the top, and so all the seats come down. So to get up to the locker room and everything, you have to go up this huge tunnel, and it's a legit. I mean, speaking of being out of shape and dealing with altitude and stuff, I mean, it is a legit uphill. When you get down there for your seat in the press row, you're hoping you can stay down there the whole game because you don't want to have to go back and forth. I mean, it's not great, but there's a challenge early in the day when they have their kind of morning shoot around practices before the game. All the opposing players try to roll a basketball all the way up the ramp to the top.
Oh yeah.
To make it open. It's a thing that's only happened. It's like a legendary thing that only happened 10 times or something in the Pitt's history or whatever. It doesn't happen very often. There's some folks that say you cross the line, it shouldn't count and all this, and technically Kobe crossed the line with his foot when he was doing it, but Kobe Young was the one player that I've seen in my time there, at least that year, that was able a couple years ago to have enough strength and timing to time it right to roll the ball all the way up the hill. So
I remember seeing that video, and I didn't know about the fact that there's only been 10 people that have gotten up there. I thought that it was
pretty rare.
I thought it was ridiculously impressive as is, just because that to me looked like the basketball equivalent of Fresno State's hill that you got to go up.
It's pretty much the same thing. Yes.
So I empathize on that part to the extreme, because I'll tell you what, that Fresno State hill at halftime, walking up that freaking hill, you're questioning stuff. And
then you're dealing with drunk fans, with all that's keeping them between you and them is a little rope right there as you're walking across the thing.
Yeah, I had a kid that was cussing me out at halftime. This kid had to be 8 or 9 years old, and we're walking up right after the game, and he's asking me for gloves, and I was nice about it, but I basically told him to kick rocks at that point because of the halftime thing.
Yeah, I think it was because last time you guys were there was that was the last time you guys were there, I think, was the famous game, right? The McAllister game, and then whatever happened after that. And that was kind of the game when Malik Sherrod took the kickback. But I remember standing there I mean, it literally, when you guys get to the top of that ramp, you're literally walking across the walkway that, like, the fans are just hanging out at, and there's literally a piece of rope that's just holding the fans from each other. And a lot of the DBs that like talking and stuff. I mean, there was some fans, and they're at the end of the game, they're happy they won, and they're drunk and they're fired up. And there was a couple of your strength guys were having to hold back some of the DBs and stuff. I mean, it was a little. It could have got way worse. It could have got contentious there if there weren't some people standing around to get some of those guys out of there.
It's a very, very hostile environment. Naturally, I think that it's a better hostile environment than some of the other places that we've played at. But the intimacy of that, and also how that game went for us, it wasn't a great situation after the game.
I think it's Fresno where Riley Smith tells the story that he was in the tent, the injury tent, and it was so close to the side that literally some fan just pulled open the door of the tent and goes, "F you," and busted into his injury.
It was Fresno. I remember that.
But that throwing the ball up the ramp is, it's tough because you got to time it perfectly with the bounce and the roll to get it to go up there. So it's tough to do. And Kobe Young, 6'7", man, not a bad target in the corner of the end zone.
That should be indicative that he's got some good hand-eye coordination now, obviously. So hopefully that translates over and can become a red zone bet for us.
Well, Michael, appreciate you jumping on. I'm losing my voice here, so we're gonna end this thing. But appreciate you as always. Hope to see you tomorrow night at the happy hour event. Again, if folks want to join us, $35 gets your beer from Horseshoe Golden Ale, your Orange Chaos Seltzer, your pizza from Uncle Bob's Pizza. Shout out Burke Mitchell, who's donating a crap ton of pizzas for tomorrow night, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Dirk Cutter, Leon Rice, Spencer Danielson. I know Lexus Williams is coming by. I mentioned all the other basketball coaches, football folks. I think Jeremiah Dickey may even make an appearance, and Cage Casey will be there. Roger Carrion, Latrell Caples, and Matt Lauder. And if that's not enough, Michael Callahan will shake your hand and take a picture. Are you going to charge for the pictures or just for the autographs?
Yeah, just give me a beer. That's all I need.
We can make. If you want to go talk to Michael Callahan, just replace him with a fresh beer when you walk up to him tomorrow night, and you're good. So, no, going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. And again, we do have some tickets available. So $35. Email me Rains@BroncoNationNews.com if you want to come. And that goes to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. In 3 years of doing this golf tournament and this event, we've raised nearly $25,000 to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. So we're proud of that. We want to get as much money as we can. So hope to see you guys tomorrow night. We'll have the raffle. We got a Spencer Danielson mini helmet, some other stuff. So you don't have any autographed Ashton Genty items lying around we could throw in the raffle, do you?
I mean, the amount of times I had to ask him for something last year, I think I used all my excuses already, and he's also gone now, so no shot.
If you had an extra helmet or football or something, you'd donate to BNN. Come on.
If I could find one, I would, but I'm limited on my resources at this point.
I do have this ball right here, which maybe we can get Michael Callahan to get on it, but we've got. This was donated by our friends at Lithia Ford of Boise. We got Matt Lauder. We got Latrell Caples. We do have Roger Carrion. We have Amarion McCoy. We do have Braxton Fely on here. And who am I missing here? Somebody else. Oh, I wish I knew which number this was. I don't know. You guys need to do a better job with signing this.
It's Lithia, I'm thinking.
Who's this right here? That might be McCoy.
Yeah.
It's Matt Lauder underneath at 85.
Yeah, I got the 85. That looks like I couldn't tell you what that looks like.
Carry on 62. Oh no, McCoy's over here on this side, so I don't know who.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the one stray is. Some of us have really bad signatures.
Oh, that might be Cage Casey, 77.
Yeah, that is Cage, 77.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, this will be. We appreciate Lithia for donating this. We're going to get Spencer to sign this and then add this to the raffle tomorrow night as well. So, going to be a fun night raising money for charity tomorrow night. But first, we'll have John Mallory on at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll continue our countdown. I believe Matt Lauder, number 7 on our list. We'll get to him tomorrow. Michael, appreciate you, man. Great stuff as always. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. And have a great rest of your day. Hope fans and everybody watching have a great rest of your day as well. And we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. But again, go email me if you want to come to the happy hour. Go subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com and read all of Nathan Carroll's articles on our previous players in the top 25 list. And I hope everybody has a great day. We appreciate RowPaint.com, our title sponsor, on a Jackson's Wednesday here at BNN. And we'll see you guys 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then we'll see you at the happy hour tomorrow night. Email me, Rains at BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.